I told everyone last night I would give you an update about our shooting that occurred in Poinciana last night. And quite frankly, we have more details, but the skeleton information that I gave you last night is still accurate. So I'm going to go through this, and it becomes complicated really quickly because obviously you can't use their names because they're victims. So I'm going to talk victim 1, victim 2, victim 3, victim 4, victim 5, because there were a lot of folks here. But this started about 4:15 on Thursday afternoon. There was a shooting, and subsequently 2 of the people that were shot crashed their vehicle into a neighbor's house because obviously they had lost control of the vehicle because they were significantly shot. So here's what happened. Our deputies arrived shortly after 4:15 in the afternoon to find absolute mayhem occurring. There was one deceased person in the front yard of one house, and there were 2 folks in a car crashed across the street, and the male victim was out of the house. He had been shot in the head. We'll call him victim 1. Now understand that he was shot in the face. The bullet went clear through the brain, out the back of his head, and he's up moving around. He runs up, or we run up to him, and our victim is a black male, 30 years of age, and he's begging, "Please don't let me die." And our deputies did everything they could to keep him from dying. In fact, he made it right so far, but he's very, very, very critical and unstable at a trauma center in Osceola County. Victim 2 was in this white car, which was a 2019 Nissan. She is only 19 years of age, and she's a black female. She was shot in the face and in the hand. It appears the shot in the face has gone through her jaw sideways and did not get into her brain. While we're not sure that victim 1 is going to survive at this point, we do believe, at least according to the best information we can get from the hospitals, that victim 2 is going to be all right. They were sitting in a car backed up in this driveway when victim 3, who was not injured, who owns the house, victim 3 was not injured, and victim 4 was there as well. Victim 4 owns the house, and we had 4 children, females 4 years old, 12 years old, and 9 years old in the house, and 1 male 3 years old in the house. And what happened is our suspect is Derek Bacat. He's deceased. He was deceased in the yard. But Derek came up to the house with a bag strapped over his shoulder because he had called one of our victims to meet him at his house. And he said, "No, I'm not coming to your house. If you want to see me, come here." So he did. He parked his car and he starts walking up. Now, we know now that Derek and our other victim, one of our victims, had the same girlfriend in common at some point in time. So he walks up. He actually greets one of our victims. When the victim who he had problems with tried to greet him, he punched him in the face and immediately pulled out a firearm. Now, victim 4 runs into the house. Victim 3 is punched, but he's not injured. Now, victim 5, who sees this, has retreated into a garage and has taken possession of a firearm. And while our suspect has his gun out now, and shooting in the direction of victim 3 and 4, and then shooting into the car of victim 1 and 2, a gunfight ensues. We believe that victim 5 actually shot first at this early stage of the investigation because our suspect was holding a gun on the other 4 people. Well, when victim 1 shoots, that's when our suspect shoots in the direction of victim 3 and 4, and then turns the gun and starts shooting into the car and shoots victim 1 and 2. Our suspect is shot, wanders over into the grass, sits down, and ultimately dies in the front yard. Last night, we released information that some of the witnesses suspected the reason he was here and angry was because we had just arrested someone for doing an armed burglary at that house over the weekend. That has been dispelled at this point. Still, the best information that we have is that it was a girlfriend argument. Now, people at the scene tell us that all of these folks are members of a gang. It's the same gang. They're all friends or acquaintances. Well, I mean, you don't need enemies if you've got friends and acquaintances like this. And here's the evidence of where the vehicle, it kind of meandered across the street and through the fence and into the house because these people were shot significantly bad. So at the end of the day, the investigation's still underway. We find victim 5 in Osceola County. Now, we've got witnesses that said he shot. Excuse me. We've got video from home surveillance cameras that show him there. We can account for our shot victims and our alive victims and victim 5, who legitimately had a legal right to protect himself and these others from Derek, who comes up and pulls a gun on them all, tells us, I didn't shoot anybody. He's not being cooperative. But that doesn't surprise us because our victim allegedly is an associate or a gang member, right? And he's not cooperating. You know why? Because he's got previous gun charges and he's a felon. So he just denies everything, which is the normal routine. Even though it appears that our victim 5 was legitimately standing his ground and protecting himself and these other people. It doesn't mean that there couldn't be issues with tampering with evidence, because we have video subsequent to the shooting. He jumps in his vehicle and takes off. Once again, we have everybody identified. There's no current danger in the community from this event. Our primary aggressor is deceased, and the investigation goes on. We're trying to locate other witnesses. The irony of it, just after the shooting occurs, we see a school bus pull up and stop right at the end of the driveway and let children off. It was in the middle of the afternoon. Any questions about that one? Okay. We plan to release a piece of the video of the shootout. And I underscore, this is not something that traditionally we do. But I want to make it abundantly clear that gangsters shooting is not going to be accepted, even if it results in their death. And oh, by the way, he not only had the one gun in the bag, he also had two more guns. And we know two of the three that our suspect had, two of the three guns he brought there in that bag were stolen. I suspect the third one is too. It just hasn't been reported with the serial number yet. Okay, they say we have the redacted video ready. So let's take a look. That's our suspect. And you see him shooting into the car. He's been shot. He sits down and subsequently dies where you see him. So we'll back that up one more time. Once again, our two victims in the car are just there visiting. And the shootout, there has been some shootout before the clip. And here it is.
And it was somebody in the car who you said shot in the head and saying...
Both of them in the car.
Right.
One,
he was the one that was saying, "Don't let me die."
The driver of the car was the one, when we arrived, was out of the car. How he was standing up, we don't ever know, because he was shot through and through in the head. And our deputies immediately rendered aid and potentially saved his life to this point, but he is critical and unstable. The other lady is critical and stable, and certainly our prayers are that she makes the full recovery, and our prayers are that he recovers as well. But it's still touch and go. He is very, very critical and very, very unstable, the last we heard. But at the end of the day, this is the violence that's not acceptable. In that bag are two more firearms. Now, our victim 5 is under the garage back this way, shooting back at him, while he's shooting as well. You see he's got on his blue LA hat, which is a symbol of one of the gangs. So he's gangstered up and gangster shot. Okay? Thank you very much. Have a good day.